I am an introverted leader. You're like, that's an oxymoron, Jason. No, it's not. And I want everyone to understand that's listening to this podcast, what is an introverted leader? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? And I want to share an introverted leader in action. What does that look like? Just so you can understand and know. And for those of you that are out there, maybe you're a CEO that's listening to this, and maybe you're extroverted and you're visionary and you're moving forward. I'm telling you right now, you need introverted leaders. You need the opposite of you working alongside of you. The ones that don't mind building out the systems, the ones that stay late and will do the things that a lot of people don't want to do. Those are introverted leaders. Introverted leaders tend to be good listeners. Wow. Imagine that. Deep thinkers and highly empathetic. They're often detail-oriented, and they enjoy digging deep into problems. Systems are the name of the game with an introverted leader. You need systems to be built in every single part of your organization. If you want to scale, if you want to have a smooth running business, you've got to have systems in place. Introverts are the ones that can build those out for you. You know why? Because through reflection, through taking the time, through deep thinking, they observe, absorb, and process. I'm going to say those three things again. They observe, absorb, and process. That's how they handle information, and they do it quietly, and they're always thinking. An introverted leader is always thinking. Now, I know you're going to say, I don't like introverted leaders because they're too quiet. They don't speak enough. That's a weakness. An introverted leader, you need to learn and practice. It's just learning and practice to communicate effectively, especially when it comes to a meeting. Because yes, all the extroverts, sales department, everybody else is going to be talking, big ego fest, right? You need to not let your emotions as an introverted leader get in the way, and you have to have courage enough to speak, especially because you can bring a different insight. You can bring a contrarian view into that, and that's what is needed. If you're a leader and you have introverted leaders underneath you, you need to ask them, prep them, tell them ahead of time, say, hey, Susan, I need you to speak up in this meeting today. I'm going to call upon you. You have a different perspective from what you were telling me, and I need the rest of the team to understand that and know it. Introverted leaders, in action, what do they love to do? One-on-one coaching. When an introverted leader learns coaching, if you are an introverted leader, the number one thing that you can learn is how to coach one-on-one with people. When you unlock coaching, it makes you Superman. You get superpowers. You are a superhero then. Because you have listening skills, you have empathy, you have everything in place ready for you to be able to enjoy the benefits of what coaching looks like. You can create a system for coaching, have weekly and monthly reviews. And you guys know I talk about coaching all the time. When you begin to work alongside your team members, when you begin to lead them and understand them and know them, when you begin to find their strengths and weaknesses and put people in the positions that they can thrive in, the way that you understand that and get to know these people is through coaching. That is your superpower, introverted leader. If you create an environment where people can be open, honest, and transparent, which you can do, if you can create an environment, introverted leader, where you have independent thinking, which you love, and you have autonomy, where you allow people to be able to be leaders themselves and take responsibility and decentralize leadership. If you are an introverted leader, you need to understand, I'm going to give you a little tip, understand Jocko Willink, understand his books. Maybe you may not like him because he was a Navy SEAL, whatever that, it does not matter. His decentralized leadership models, where everybody takes 100% responsibility, is what you can do as an introverted leader. Get to know the material, understand it. Because when you provide space for people to grow, when you provide space for people to innovate, any challenge that comes into your department, any challenge that comes into your business, you as an introverted leader will be able to handle it through that organically. So how do you overcome the challenges that introverted leaders face? Well, one, you've got to get rid of the misconceptions and stereotypes. And I know they're out there. I know they're out there for introverted leader. I hear them all the time. And when you look at, as maybe you're a CEO and you look at an introverted leader and they're lacking that vision part that you so admire, they're lacking the way that they can communicate when they stand before before a group or an audience, and you're like, it's just painful to watch or listen to them. You fail to recognize the rich eternal life that introverts have, that thoughtful leadership style that they bring to the roles. But you as an introverted leader, you have to take responsibility for these misperceptions. As an introverted leader, you have to be proactive in making sure, and I'm going to say this over and over again, that you develop your communication style. Find a style that works for you. Study them out. You can go to Google and type in communication styles. Find those out. Find the preference that you want and then communicate that over and over and over in your coaching sessions and to your team. When you do your one-on-ones, you let them know your communication style. When you go to hire somebody, you let them know your communication style. The preference is the way that you want things communicated. As long as it's honest, as long as it's transparent, and as long as things are flowing, that way that you do it, that style, that's up to you as the leader. And if you communicate it effectively over and over and over again and let people know, they are so adaptable to that. They're actually going to like it because they're not getting micromanaged and they're allowed to be able to flourish, and you are nourishing them through the coaching. Transparency. This is something that you may have a hard time as an introverted leader doing, is opening up and being transparent. You need to work on this. This will help you understand your people. This will help you be able to be approachable. You want somebody to be able to come to you and say, hey, boss, can I talk to you for about 5 minutes? Yeah, I'm busy right now. I'm fixing to go to a meeting, but right when I get back, I'm putting on my schedule right now, and I blocked off 30 minutes for you. That's how you do it. And then you just do impromptu coaching session, asking questions, listening, talking 20% of the time, and they talking 80% of the time. So how can a business, an organization, how can they harness the power of an introverted leader? First, you got to recognize that leadership style exists. You need to recognize this. You need to put it out there. Leadership team, put that out there. Say, hey, we understand that there's diversity in leadership. We understand that there's extroverted and introverted leaders. And we want to provide opportunities for introverted leaders to shine in our business. So we are going to give them more focused settings so that they can demonstrate their capabilities. Also, you need to understand that every introverted leader will complement an extroverted leader. And it doesn't have to be an introverted leader has to be under every single extroverted leader. That's not what I'm talking about. So the president is extroverted and the vice president is introverted. The CEO is extroverted, so anyone underneath him must be introverted. That's not what I'm talking about. You can have an introverted CEO. There's a ton of them out there. Google it. Type in successful introverted leaders. You're going to see one after the other of names that you recognize. All I'm saying is, if you want a more measured approach, if you want a more thoughtful and system-oriented, and you want strong decision-making, I encourage you, hire introverted leaders. If you know an introvert that's kicking ass and doing a great job in your organization, bring them up slowly as a leader. They have a quiet strength about them. They have amazing potential. They have a way to bring about in your organization meaningful change. And they quietly drive innovation. So by valuing and harnessing the power of introverted leadership, you're going to build a balanced team. You're going to build an inclusive team. And I guarantee you, you're going to build an effective team.